Okay, I don't know what I did. Holy shit. Today we're going to take a look at Effectorod's Blackbird. Quite excited about this, but because it has 3 tubes. This was somebody else's. I got it from Reverb. In total, we'll have 4 different kinds of tubes. The additional ones that we'll test will be the original Mullard 12AX7 long plate and also the original Bremar. So the Bremar is going to be tested first in Blackbird, but I would like to also try the Bremar here because this is 12AU7. This is built for 12AU7. So I just want to see how a tube like Bremar sounds in this unit. So we're going to test this afterwards. So yeah, so let's take a look. Let's start with channels. So we have 3 channels. We have clean channel, and then we have this classic, and then when we toggle this, we have also this creamy channel. There's this presence toggle here. It only works for classic and creamy, and it adds just a touch of like a high frequencies. The booklet describes it as like a little bit of a sparkle, but it's just probably more like a high frequency boost. This is the low impedance output, and here we have balanced out for like mixers, and also this will be used with autumn. Also, the LED lights are ridiculously bright. Maybe it's good for stages where you can see it active, but here it's just a beam of light. So that's that. Let me move you guys. So we tested like 3 tubes per socket. As you can see, there's not a lot of difference until we get to 12AU7, and it seems that in second and third, they seem to behave very similarly when you place a tube like 12AU7. Part of me thinks that something is going on between the classic and creamy, and maybe those 2 sockets are most responsible for it. It kind of sounds like it when you read into it. It's very difficult, obviously, to troubleshoot that right now because I think we would need to crank up the Blackbird a little bit to really hear this and confirm it. Let's see here. This shuts off. I'm gonna be so mad. I just wanted to say that recording this stuff is not easy, and oftentimes what you hear when you play with the unit and what's being recorded doesn't give it justice. As you can see, we've tested everything in quite extensively, and it sounds like Brimar in that second or third socket sounds the best, or at least that's when we hear something changing. As you can see, Mullard is, or swapping Mullard and JJ, there's doesn't seem to do much. And only when we add Brimar is when we have um, some, like, I would say, like, we can crank up the gain quite a bit. So next we're going to test different tubes in valve. We will test Brimar and then retest the electroharmonics and Muller tubes. I did go with electroharmonics. I think it sounds by far the most balanced. It's just a touch less louder than the ratio Mullard is, but sometimes louder doesn't mean that it's better. And I find that electroharmonics was just enough. And so this goes back to valve. So let's put it back. And Brimar did not work as it sounded bright, but it didn't stand with the drums. So the next step, we're going to drive the D2 and see what kind of sound we can get with the Blackbird. There's no distortion, at least on this classic. That's all we got on max. So if we go to here, which should be, the distortion should kick in faster. Let's just say that we had that on red with Brimar. Has more like growl to it. I like it. All right, you say? Well, back to Brimar. Brimar has a unique character and it sounds amazing, but at the moment we need to focus on driving the D2 and we need a higher gain tube. Part because, as you can see on both channels, the drive knob is pushed all the way to max, the levels are cranked up, and that kind of limits us as how much distortion we could push early. Yeah, there is just a limiting factor, even when we have a nice kind of this rounded sound from Brimar. But we are going to come back to this tube and we're going to see what else can we do down the road. It does sound very interesting, but at the moment it is limiting us as in how far we could push the distortion. The distortion does help drive the transformer, clips sooner, and rounds up the sound a little bit faster. So yeah, so let's take a look down the road and come back to this a little bit later. Okay, so I just want you guys to hear this track while it's in line level, it is running into auto and then into D2. All right, now check out this in low Z. Just this gravel to it. Yeah, no, it sounds really good. I know I keep like trying this 100 million times, but I just want to make sure because it's such a critical junction. You can see the sound quality is a little bit on the muddy side. But we have more tools. Like, let's say that you like this distortion coming out from Blackbird, and we have more tools. We can filter some stuff. We could go overboard. Probably killed some YouTube viewers. And we have a different tool as well, the pads, which helps us drive things further without necessarily clipping. And there's so much more creative tools. Like we could even start at a higher gain range, so we can go to, I believe, 12 or push it all the way max. You get an idea how interesting it does sound going with the creator route. I would like to keep it the way it is, although I do like the low impedance straight into DI. One other thing that I really wanted to take a look at was we tested this guy. Just want to see like how this would sound here as well. So we'll just use a 9 volts for this guy. Too lazy to go all the way over there. Okay, I don't know what I did. Holy shit. So I am reading that, you know, I am running a mono and then outputting 2 cables out into DI, and that's dual mono. So I'm duplicating my signal, and as you can see, I'm getting a much louder sound as a result. But needless to say, like, there's a huge difference between what we're hearing right now and what was in the before, even when it was boosted up with a compressor. Check it out. I mean, this sounds really good. and we are on the clean channel. We are running a little bit off the drive on the valve with its native tube. Let's just quickly compare the two. This almost kind of feels like the fourth tube for the Blackbird. It technically kind of counts. It's like a pre Blackbird. Yeah, okay. It's a pre Blackbird. It's the Blackbird's egg. But yeah, this is kind of where it all led me. It's a quite of an interesting result, and I kind of want to build a box for these two devices. Like I want to build a box that has both Blackbird and the Valve together, so they're like a one unit. So I'm gonna leave this here. I hope you guys learned something, and I wouldn't blame you if you did not. Um, and I definitely had a ton of fun testing all this and discovering something new. Yeah, and check out my website. Go to dubwaves.com. Has some cool stuff in there and some more coming up. Okay, so I got it. Okay, so sounds like this one is balanced and this one is unbalanced, but we don't know that.